Welcome to my leading video part 1. First thing we're going to do after reinstalling these headlight pods is we're going to make sure we've got a perfectly clean surface for our tin and our lead to stick through. What I use is these Scotch-Brite wheels. After I've 50 gridded this, they seem to get in every little nook and cranny and do a real nice job. Okay, I cleaned that up pretty good before I started the video, so that looks pretty good. Second process is to sweat the metal. And in doing this, what we're doing is we're eliminating any moisture that's inside the metal so that our tinning compound has got a nice base to start with. Okay, I use these diffuser tips on my torch. Gives me a nice even heat. Highly recommend it. I think I probably got that at Eastwood also. That's what I'm using here is the Eastwood's lead-free body solder. I've had excellent luck with it. It's a little bit trickier to apply than the old 70-30 lead that we used to use. It doesn't melt at the same temperature, but it's a lot stronger, and it's a heck of a lot stronger than body filler. Plus you don't have the expansion and contraction that you may have if you have body filler on an area too thick. You can kind of see the distortion when you set it in the sun after you block the paint down. And body filler has, I think, like I would say around 900 psi stencil strength, maybe 1200 at the most. And the 70-30 lead was at around 9,000, and I think they rate this at 12,000. Okay, I've got that heated up nice. I can see the moisture slowly work its way off of there. I'm going to put my tinning compound on here while it's nice and warm. I put a lot of it on there. Use it very liberally. You never want to lead beyond your tinned area. Otherwise, obviously, it's not going to stick. Try to keep a nice even heat on it. You don't want to get any area too hot, obviously too cold. Once your tinning compound starts to flow, I use a little steel wool, work it into all the little nooks and crannies. I recommend using a respirator. I'm not using one right now, but I have an excellent cross airflow right here, and I'm not breathing any of this toxic stuff. I just kind of work my way across. Get that tin to flow out. Trying to keep my surface nice and even. Temperature, nice and even temperature. And minimize the amount of contaminants that are in it. I see a lot of guys doing this, and it seems like they put a lot of contaminants in their material, and you know, that's just a failure waiting to happen. And really, there's only two ways that this lead can fail that I know of. One of them is the acid from the tinning process gets captured in an air bubble or is not cleaned properly, and then it surfaces and releases the bond to either your primer or your body fill or whatever coming in contact with your lead. So if you keep those two things in mind, I think you can eliminate most of the problems. And the best way to eliminate the acid problem is just to keep a nice clean area, nice clean surface. I'll show you one technique I use to do that. Right as soon as I go around here, I'll show you what I'm going to do. Just about got it. We've done a lot of these Jaguar 140s. I've won national champion several times with these. Never had a lead failure. Got cars that are 15-year restorations and they still look magnificent. We're off and on the winner's circle with the JCNA. That looks pretty good. Okay, next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take this semi-moist cloth before my surface cools off too much. You can kind of see some of the pieces of the steel wool are remaining in there. And I'm going to just wipe this off and get all this excess tinning compound and any of this pieces of possibly from that brush that I used to put my tinning compound on and the steel wool out of there. And this is not taking the tin off of here. You can see it's still shiny. That's all you got to look for. As long as it's shiny, you can see that tinning compound is still on there. The next thing I'm going to do after I get all of this cleaned up is I'm going to take my baking soda and water mixture and a piece of Scotch-Brite, and I'm going to clean it again. The baking soda obviously is going to neutralize any remaining acids on there, and actually that's a process you can't do too many times. If you've got any doubts, clean it again, and then I often, right before there's any body filler applied, I'll wipe it down with some lacquer thinner again. And like I said, I've never had a failure. I've seen plenty of them. Most of them you can point out what the reasons are. So I wouldn't hesitate to use body filler, this lead-free body solder, especially on sail panels. You know, corner areas where maybe you have a door jamb you'd like to build up and you know it's going to be getting a lot of abuse in that area and you want to build it up a little bit stronger. Flex areas, like right in here on this Jaguar, right where these body lines meet. Around the door handle maybe, even though you got to watch out on the flat surfaces because you can get it too hot, obviously, and warp the panel and create more work than you started with. One way I can tell that I've done this just the way I like it, the correct heat, nice and